Welcome back to the Halloween episode of Fuchs Around and Cal Them Out. I am your host, Ben Fuchs, or am I? Today, I am Alex Cal.
And I am Ben Fuchs today, or Alex Cal.
Depending on what you do now, these are readers. I can't actually keep them on. But of course, with the Halloween theme, you're
I'm
leaving.
still going to keep it on. It definitely is in the way, but
I respect your dedication to the
it's
character.
the spirit, you know?
Yeah. Hopefully you can go on rambling rants like me. So, with the scary story thing, I believe that you have somebody that got possibly scammed by Elon Musk himself. Is that
Definitely not by Elon Musk.
definitely? You said Elon Musk called him directly.
He thought. Oh. It was definitely not Elon Musk. It was probably a few other people that were saying it was him.
I thought that for some time, richest man in the world went on individual. That is messing me up so fast. It's great.
It's definitely a writing up a little bit.
No, good. Imagine what it's like to actually hang on to the whole time. All right, so tell me about this terrifying story for Halloween Star.
Okay. So, a little backstory about them. They own a store. They ended up hearing about Elon, or supposedly Elon, giving them a call and saying, hey, I got the best opportunity for you here.
Always a great line.
First, the red flag there, right?
Yeah.
The next thing was, hey, have you ever heard of Bitcoin or crypto? Which I would say second red flag there. But as they're telling me this story, they're just telling me, hey, we had to do all these different accounts, all these different transfers, just so that we can get them the money and have it somehow growing. I mean, what they said was, and I mean, they'd thought it through because they were obviously walking them through it. They told them, hey, this is what you should get. This is what you should receive. They even said, hey, you should get a cyber truck in the mail soon, which, I mean, they were just brand new.
Like in their post office? Like, is that what?
Like
delivery, post box? Is that okay?
Delivery to their house.
Yes. Okay.
But all these little things. Okay. And, you know, I feel for them because one of the things that these scammers ended up doing is, I guess, on one of these apps, you can actually link a different account. So they were showing them a real account.
Oh my gosh.
That they were managing, but it's like you can click into it, you could see the positions, it looks real until you scroll down to the very bottom, it says view only. So it looks like it's there. They see it growing, and of course, yeah, they're going to throw in more money because they think it's real.
And I don't mean to actually make fun. I mean, to me, it's frustrating that people can get so sophisticated that they can create a whole fake app and a fake viewpoint to see, and would not be the first of our clients that has gotten scammed or almost been scammed in a number of different ways. So tell me what happened. So you met with them, you sat down with them, you looked at it, and then what happened?
So a lot of it was more psychological. It was more disbelief that this is not, it's real. I can show you, and okay, it's really kind of diving in. Well, why do you think it's real? Tell me a little bit about your conversations. Okay. And then it's us slowly talking about it just so that they could realize. But of course, you don't want to say, well, like, hey, like, here it is right here. It's more slowly in the sense, great, well, tell me about how they talk to you. Okay, well, why do they need it immediately? Why is it through here? Why is it always in this structure that they talk to you?
Why can't we just go to Coinbase and can we do it there? I mean, what are the differences between buying some of these things?
So I think that it's slowly having them realize and then kind of having the questions that guide them to that answer without you telling them.
I would imagine that'd be very difficult. But, I mean, we've had clients before people that I've worked with who I think are really sharp people. I mean, I don't want to go into any professions because I don't want anyone that knows them to get any idea of who they are. But these are people that I would consider to be skeptical, analytical, smart people. And they got a call from their daughter saying, I just hit somebody, and it was a mother with a pregnant lady, and I'm freaking out, and I need cash so that I can pay off the something. And so they got that call, and they immediately went into panic mode. Like, oh man, it was my daughter's voice. I know what she sounds like. let's get that money immediately. And then they did. And they went to like different banks, and they were going to wire the money to the attorney, and they had different conversations with them. And finally they were in their bank ready to wire the money. And they got moved to the bank manager who doing their due diligence. The bank manager said, hey, when's the last time you talked to your daughter, and have you talked to her since all of this stuff went into motion? I don't know. Well, can you call your daughter again just to make sure that this is what she actually needs? And so they do, and lo and behold, daughter's completely and totally fine, no idea what they're talking about. But again, these were really smart people. I was analytical, and I think anybody can be duped. And I think that's part of the problem, is that we're in a scenario now where, because of technology, because of everything else, scammers are getting more and more sophisticated. So the scary stories are not necessarily funny scary stories. They're like difficult scary stories. Along the Tesla route, though, I remember meeting with somebody who was not a client, who Gina met with, and they had moved all of their money into Tesla. And this is like every single dollar that they owned was in one stock. And I know that you are a certified financial planner. And is that in the rule book? Is that like a recommendation for people to like
No.
And if you're
Unless it's like a scary story you're telling me.
No. I mean, this is horrifying for me, but they did this, and timing is everything, right? Because if you do this in 2013 or 2015, like, you made a fortune. But I have two stories, both of which happened in 2021, and the problem with 2021 is 2022 was an awful year for technology. A lot of people kind of glaze over it, like, oh, it's not a big deal. But the NASDAQ, the QQQ, fell by about 32, 33%, somewhere in that ballpark. So if you had $1 million in like Tesla stock there, it could have gone down by 670 or more. I don't remember exactly.
600 grand now.
Yeah, we're talking about a significant drop in terms of value. And so, if you're 23, you can leave that money alone and let it recover. No big deal. But if you are ready to retire, that's when you kind of run off a cliff. That's when you're like, oh man, I can't believe I just bet everything on something and it went down. And the scary thing is that we see that a lot. I've seen that with Raytheon. I've seen that with Electric Boat, where people have like 80, 90% of their total value into one stock.
And it's great. Costco.
Yeah, I've seen Costco, yeah. And it's great when it's great until it isn't. And then, any little blip in that stock, and all of a sudden you've lost 10% of your net worth.
Yeah, especially it's even harder when you were drawing from it, right?
I mean, that's the whole thing, is that for us, one of the biggest things that we changed is making sure that you know exactly where your money is coming from, and it's not coming from something that we have to sell. I get very frustrated when I see a lot of plans, and it's like, oh, we're going to just sell part of these mutual funds every 3 months or sell every 6 months. And, when we talk to people, it's, hey, I'm going to retire. Okay, great. What is your income plan? How are you going to get money out of this portfolio? Oh, well, my advisor just said not to worry about it. Cool.
So it works out, right?
Yeah, everything's going to work out. Everything's fine. It's all great. Market went down. Oh, it'll come back. Don't worry.
We're still selling. It's okay.
Yeah, no big deal. But okay, well, we need money. It always drives me crazy. But, I'll make my gripes and I'll keep them. You had somebody that had something to do with gold?
Yeah. So similar story with how they wanted the money, but they were trying to sell him an algorithm to day trade with. So quick backstory on this client: extremely conservative, doesn't want anything in the market. He came to me and said, hey, like, I heard of this thing that I've been researching for a year now. So great. Well, tell me about it. Well, hey, it's this company out in...
Does it involve fake beards?
No.
Okay.
Doesn't.
Okay. I think you're going to grow a beard now, because you kind of...
I can't grow a beard, unfortunately. But it'll be spotty. But
okay. All right. I don't mean to interrupt. Please, gold. My bad.
But for him, they're saying, oh, hey, pay us in Bitcoin and we'll tell you when to trade. Which seems, okay, well, the first red flag is you want it in Bitcoin.
Right.
And the second is you're telling me when to buy and sell. So we're running into timing issues.
And let's be clear, like, we don't do a lot with cryptocurrency, right? It's not our world. I don't touch it. It's not my thing. We have portfolios that have links to it and that they use them in certain scenarios, but we're not here to trash cryptocurrency.
It's not the idea. Especially with it being more
But typically when you're
hoping.
paying for things in cash, and if they want to use that to then buy cryptocurrency, it's not a big deal. It's not like there's some exchange rate that people are. The reason that it's a red flag for us is because there's less oversight over cryptocurrency trading. And so when people want to be paid in cryptocurrency, unless you're Odell Beckham Jr., typically it should be somewhat of a red flag. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's a flag.
Right. And so for him, he would just get these alerts and, hey, you have to make the trade in 10 minutes. And to me, I was like, okay, well, it's following gold, which of course is up 50%, not saying to go buy it now, but I told him, I said, well, how much are you investing? He was worth, call it 1.1 million. He wanted to do it for like 10,000. Like, okay, so not like a ton, but why go through all this effort?
Yeah.
You're researching it for a year. You're going to pay them. You're going to monitor it on a daily basis.
You can buy a gold ETF, and we have them in our portfolio.
But I was like, and if you just want exposure and you want to have more growth, there's 10,000 other options we could do that have less hassle and more transparency.
Right. Did you tell him to go to Costco to buy gold straight up?
I did not. I told him any place, if he wanted gold, yeah, that would be perfect.
I know a few pawn dealers nearby.
Right.
I think they want you to get down there. Never mind.
So
No
that's
plugs.
what it was, kind of more guiding him as well. But I was like, listen, tell me their name. Like, let me look into them while you're here on the phone. And like, because right now my main concern, the things that concern me are, hey, they want it in crypto. They're going to tell you when to buy. And when I looked them up, they weren't even like the top search on Google. And their website was broken. And I'm trying to go through all these tabs to learn about them, and it doesn't tell me anything. And I'm like, oh, they're from the EU.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, so there's not even much oversight from the US side. So I'm like, listen, it sounds like you just want exposure. There's thousands of ways to do it. I probably wouldn't lean this way because of these things that I'm seeing. End of the day, you can do what you'd like. It's not a ton of money in your scheme, right? In your overall arch. But it's scary to me because my last thing is I just don't want you, even though it's 10 grand, to lose it because someone just tried to take advantage of you.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's it's almost like you get in, you theoretically see things grow, they you give more money, and then it's a bigger problem. But I mean, I don't think anybody wants to give away $10,000 to a scammer either. I mean,
I would say go spend it on yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's real. But again, I mean, sophistication of scams and not understanding how it works, and so I have a client who I love, who I wouldn't call, he didn't get scammed. He just didn't understand Medicare. And so we may have talked about this before, and stop me if I have. You've certainly heard it. But Brandon, our producer,
I've heard this.
Will let me know. Yeah, he can shut me down. But so a client who moved to another state, so we just meet by Zoom twice a year, and I was, asking what's going on, and, did the regular reviews. Everything's great. Tell me what's going on in your world. Oh, well, I had to go to the doctor the other day, and they had to shave a little bit of a cancerous thing off. I'm like, oh, man, that's awful. I'm so sorry. Like, tell me more. And they were talking about how it came, and it could have been the cause of this drug that he was taking for something else. And so we got down into the story, and he chose to take this drug that was costing him like maybe a couple $100 instead of this other drug that was going to cost him $1,700 a month.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right,
it's pretty steep. Yeah.
That's a significant cost. But like, what's the deal? Well, the doctors say that the one that's $1,700 a month, that one won't give me cancer every 2 to 3 years. But my plan is just to get the cancer every 2 to 3 years and then just have them shave it off again. And I said, your plan is to get cancer every 2 to 3 years and just let them take it instead of paying for the more expensive drug? And I was like, first of all, you can afford the more expensive drug. Oh, I can't. Yes, you can. I manage your money. Number one. But number two, and I'm not the Medicare guy, and I don't want to be the Medicare guy, but I can do some quick research and maybe a Google search here and there. Isn't there a cap on how much you come out of pocket for your prescription drugs? And as it turns out, there is, and that cap is $2,000.
Used to not be, but now it is. Yeah.
Now it is.
Yeah.
And so his options were pay $2,000 or get cancer every couple of years. And I'm like, this is a god-awful decision get the more expensive drug and just get the cap. He's like, I can do that. Yes, you can do that. And then I had him talk to Josh, who's our Medicare guy, who walked him through all the options, and now he's all set. But that was like terrifying for me. Like, this is, first of all, it's scary that that has to be an option that somebody has to choose from, number one. Number two, it's kind of crazy that the doctors wouldn't know about a cap on prescription drugs. Like, you would think that
They deal with it all day.
yeah, like
Yeah.
this is their world. Like, they don't have to know the ins and outs of every Medicare, but they should have some idea of, like,
What
Part
this
D,
will
right.
cost, yeah, or what Medicare would cover.
So I'm like, it feels like there was some fair, and like here I am, like the last item. But if we didn't have that Zoom, he would have kept on getting cancer. Like, that's,
Well, that's why I'm glad people reach out, because it gives us the opportunity to correct that, or at least have the discussion.
well, and there are a lot of times that people who are, again, intelligent people just don't necessarily make great decisions with money. And sometimes it's okay, well, hey, I need to get money out. Another scenario where he was like, my sister has to go into a nursing home, and I want to help pay for the coverage. And we're going to sell her house, but I'm just going to use my money. And the lawyer said I would get it all back. But I'm like, anything that you take out of your account at this point is all pre-tax money. So you might, if you need $14,000 for the month, you have to take out $18,000. You're not going to get $18,000 back. You're going to get the 14 that they reimburse, and you're going to spend 4,000 of your money. So what was the workaround? Great question. Thank you for asking. I said, listen, you're guardian of your
I'm
sister's
supposed to
estate.
ask you that. I have the beard.
I'm sorry. So
Oh,
what
is
was the
that what-
workaround? Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you for asking.
Oh.
Great question.
Oh, a guy
You
got
think
it.
you can continue now?
Oh,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Is there anything else you wanted to throw
I
in?
didn't know the story.
Okay, got it.
I don't recall, unfortunately.
That's okay. Now, if you want to tell it, it's.
I mean, I run Fuchs Financial, so it's a little hard to keep.
By the way, as long as you run Fuchs, are there any changes that you feel like we should make?
I was actually thinking
Never mind.
there's
All
an
right, so-
employee, Ben.
Get
We're
rid of
gonna
him.
cut the salary.
No. All right. Moving right along. So instead of doing that, because he's guardian of his sister's estate, he can get a home equity line on his sister's house that they're trying to sell. Home equity line, there's no taxes on it. It's going to get paid off when they sell the house anyway. It's already part of the original plan. It's like, oh, it's a pain. I'm like, it's a pain, but is it a $4,000 pain? Like, would you rather pay $4,000 of your own money, or would you rather make a phone call? I'd rather make the phone call. So
Even if it was an hour phone call, are you worth $4,000 an hour?
I don't know, even most attorneys. I dare I say an hour is $4,000 an hour. And if you are, leave me alone and don't talk to me. The last scary story that I came up with was a guy. Well, I got two more, but we'll skip
I
it.
think the beard is a scary story. It keeps getting in my mouth.
I think now it's actually aligned. I think you had whatever the sold out would be. I think you had it like on the side. I think.
Oh,
we're good.
okay.
I think
I mean, that's my style, though.
it is a misaligned.
That's how it grows.
What are you trying to say?
Yours looks okay.
You know what? I'm going to go talk to my barber. Because if it looks like that, then I got to make some changes.
I got a few recommendations if you know.
Geez. No, I would love to hear them. Thank you for asking. So he was just turned 62. He was a person that I met for the first time. He had just taken 62. This is like probably 8, 9, maybe even 10 years ago. And he said, oh, all my friends said that I should take Social Security as soon as possible, and Social Security is going to run out eventually. So, I'm 62. I signed up for it, and I've taken it for the last couple of months. I'm like, you're still working? He's like, yeah, I'm still working. I'm like, have you gotten any money from Social Security? Like, very little. Well, that's because you can only make so much money and collect Social Security if you're under your full retirement age, which for most people is 67 years old. That's the age at which you can work and collect Social Security without any penalty. And they don't call it a penalty. They say you make it all up later, but whatever. I'll let them say that, and I'm going to hold my opinions to myself.
Right. Technically a penalty.
Right. But
Taking
he
it early.
was 62, collecting Social Security and receiving almost none of it. And so he stagnated the growth, right? He doesn't get that buildup where it goes up by a percentage every year. And it's like 5, 6, 7%. And then after 67, it goes up by 8% a year. So he wasn't getting that. He had taken it and he was getting almost nothing. I would say this is a scenario where fear has directed your finances. And fear can't be the thing directing your finances. Not on everything that you do, and not without understanding the rules. I think some of the biggest mistakes that we make that we see people make is by not understanding how things work. If you understood how normal securities are bought and sold, you're not going to buy things in cryptocurrency, right? You're not going to take Social Security at 62 while you're still working. You're not going to Uh, hopefully, no, you might still put all your money in
Arbitrage a
Tesla.
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little
When
something.
it's never arbitrage.
Yeah, good lord. But I mean, there are things, and also this idea that somebody can predict the future. I remember I met with somebody. Oh, all the stories come out now that we talk. I met with somebody, I think it was 7 years ago, and every time that I think it was Jim Cramer, every time that Jim Cramer made a trade, he got a notification on his phone so that he could also make the trade.
I thought it was to do the opposite.
Well, we found out now that if you did the opposit of what he suggested, you would have
I
made a lot more
gotcha.
money.
Gotcha.
But he is kind of an easy punching bag, and listen,
Nothing against Jim Cramer.
a little bit, but
Okay. I'm Ben. I am not saying anything.
right? Thank you. And as Alex Cal,
Different glasses, just so everyone
I don't like
see.
Jim Cramer, and
He
come
has
at me.
different glasses, just so everyone knows.
Anyway, no, I listen. If your job on TV is to tell people when to buy and sell stocks, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and it's just not a job that I would ever take and be like, yeah, I can predict the future. Look at me. Like I feel like that's a terrible decision.
Well, even a lot of places, even with the mailers that they'll send out or like email lists, they just cut the list in half. They send one recommendation of one and the other to another because they're never wrong.
They're going to be right half the time,
and they're always going to have people around.
I like it. That's a brilliant move. All right. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to say in today's episode?
Yeah, I should really shave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not very comfortable, unfortunately.
You've got a little dandruff on your shirt. But I guess that happens when you have a beard as magnificent.
It's not as itchy, though.
Perfect. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Fuchs Around and Call Them Out. I am your host, Ben or Alex, depending on who you want to sue. But if you want to sue, it's Alex Cal. And if you think that you're really attractive, Ben Fuchs, you're welcome.
Oh, I might tell Kristen, but that's okay.
My wife. Thank you. Not your wife under any Halloween disguise. All right.
No.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.